everybody. My name is Scott Dennis. I'm going to give a brief, kind of step-by-step walkthrough of my art project, which is my map art project. First off, the first step, actually, I want to give a brief definition of how I came across these books and my idea for this project, for this art project. I was in Connecticut and doing a project with a friend, and went through this old house and found these old map books in the basement. They were kind of moldy. I don't know. They looked like they definitely needed some TLC. And so we walked through this house and went into the basement, and we saw these books in there. And I asked the guy before I left. I said, "Hey, these things are going to waste, and they're just going to get worse and worse. You mind if I have them?" He said, "Sure. Go ahead and take them. Feel free." So there were 6 books in total. These kind of, I don't know, I guess they're roughly like 32 inches by 22 or something like that. So anyway, he said take the books. There were 6 in total. And they vary from different years, 1913, 1902, I think, or something. This one I think was screwed up front page here, but let's see. This is briefly. They're all the Bronx. They're all about the Bronx. Pretty cool pages. This one was 1902 book, but pretty cool. Each one is like linen backed. You got like this canvas or linen or something holding each page together, and like so they're each kind of, individually, I guess, different estates and people own certain parts of the Bronx, I guess, or whatever, and but they're pretty cool. So what the process I'm thinking about doing was taking each individual map, like these are 1902 originals, so I'd like to take them off out of the book and use this canvas as an art, like do something Bronx related or New York related on these cool original maps. So actually, and I was thinking to myself, wow, it'd be great to have like Manhattan and New York's a major key. Bronx I didn't think was that huge. I mean, there's a lot of history in the Bronx, but I was thinking, wow, it'd be great to have Manhattan stuff. So I also wanted to mention this, is that, which was weird, because this book that was falling apart, one of the worst ones, I almost left it. And the cover, I think the sheet for this fell off. That's right. Shit, it's falling apart. But here's the thing, and then it said Atlas of the Borough of the Bronx, New York. So that kind of fell off, but I still have that. And so I was going through this book, which was so cool, is that this one was 1913. And again, they're all linen backed. They're like stuck or pasted on this kind of linen backing. So, and actually this one, I was going through the book and kind of seeing what was in here, seeing if there were any prominent kind of locations that I could use for Bronx-related artwork. So I'm going through these pages, and they look pretty rough. In the front, anyway. In the backs, they weren't, so bad. I guess they're all one kind of sheet. Every time you open one up, these little tabs, and they say, page, tab, 56 or 70 something, or 50 something, whatever. But they're all hand colored, I guess, markings with blues and pinks and things like that. So I'm hoping to use these full pages as one to kind of like not cut them up, but just have one whole sheet, which is roughly like 32 by 22 or something like that. But the lucky thing is that I'm gonna actually go through the process of showing you how I did this. But it was weird, but I was going through these these pages from, and a lot of them had like a frayed, like they were coming off at the ends. You know, they were linen backed by paste or something, and so one was flipped back, and I noticed there was some writing on the back of some of these. So I'm flipping through and I see some, you know, like there's a map on the back. So I go through the whole book. I find out which one has marking on the back. As a matter of fact, I put this one in here. So I'm going through them, and I notice these marking, like, you know, the front of them is the Bronx, like plate 35 or whatever, and but on the backs of these, that I noticed probably on about 20 of these sheets, I noticed there's something on the back. I'm like, what the heck? There's two-sided or whatever. So I was like, okay, I wonder what these are. So I started pulling them back some, and they kind of come off. I'm trying to do this with two hands. Trying to come off like, you know, like it's been pasted on here. And this is actually one of them. So I'm pulling them back, and I'm thinking, wow, what are this? So I start seeing, like it says Broadway. So actually, I'm going to pull this back some more. So you see, if I pull them back, I got to do this kind of, I know I should be doing this more gently. But, you know, here's Broadway, Fifth Avenue, Times Square. So I'm thinking, wow, I wish because I was looking for Manhattan stuff. And, of course, I think they go for more money. And there's more, I think, material to paint, you know, like Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, blah, 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 on and on and on. So I'm thinking, wow, they're kind of rough condition. They have some kind of glue or paste that probably never come off. So I went through this whole book, 1913, found these pages. There's different plate numbers on the back. This is the Bronx. On the other side, Manhattan. So I got there's 20 of them all together. So I took all the 20, and here's the original ones that was the Bronx, and on the back, I peeled this one off, the linen, and it's all Manhattan stuff. You see Broadway, Fifth Avenue, blah, blah, blah. So here are these cool maps. I'm thinking, I wish these were in great condition. So I took the individually, you know, took them apart. This is one of them. So on one side of the Bronx, like I said, initially was going to have the painting, something New York related, Bronx, whatever. Come to find out, there's Manhattan maps on the back of these. So I don't know if this is the right thing to do or the proper way to do this. So I come to find out, instead of pushing, you know, kind of ripping them off, I would kind of wet them first, because I think they were just adhered with this linen with some kind of paste. So I would soak it up a little bit. Soak it up, spray it up. And I take like a damp cloth just to soak it in some. And I should probably take this to restoring person or something, but I'm probably screwing it up worse than I am. But not really. I wet it down good. Maybe leave it set for a minute or so. So once I dampen it up pretty good, I then set my rag down. Of course, I know I should wait longer, but so I'm taking peel. Let's peel off a whole lot easier. I'm going to use my knees so I can hold on to this camera. So I peel it back. Comes off a whole lot easier. So, as you can see, this is what's coming off a whole lot easier. This one appears to have Hudson River, White Star Line, Red Star Line, Atlantic Transport Line, excuse me, other stuff. So peel this off some more, and looks like marginal street, 10th Street. Oh, get this off. It comes up a whole lot easier when it's wet. So I have my stack of linen there. So what I would do at this point, so I know what I have, and it's cool. So now I don't think I'm doing the Bronx anymore and using the other side. I now have a unmarked Manhattan. There's Times Square and Fifth Avenue and Central Park and blah blah blah. So what I do next is and I'm probably hoping I'm not damaging these more, but they appear to come out really well. I just want to kind of prove the authenticity of these maps and where they came from. So once I spray them down, I'd kind of take just drip some water on it, and I probably should be doing this another way, but this pasty stuff, the paper's pretty thick, so it doesn't fall apart, so I can kind of briefly go over it. There's a little nick on this one, I guess. No damage, but so I would kind of get, all the corners and kind of be careful with the corners, and get the edges. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can tell with this video, but just kind of mixing up that old paste that was on there. The edges. And I won't go through the whole process, but this is mainly, so I wet it up, get this whole paste off, then take a kind of a dry one and kind of get it all nice off, get all that old paste off, I guess, and make sure it's kind of clean. So we end up with now, before it was an old Bronx map, which was pretty dirty, and I don't know, I guess pink marker and blues and blah 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 and writing all on them. Now we have on the other side, which I have a total of 20, is different plates. So this is plate 6 of Manhattan area, I guess. And like I said, there's, you know, Broadway and different plazas and Grand Central Station and you know, just all New York, Manhattan stuff, which is pretty cool. So, but I thought these are kind of interesting because now they're unmarked and they're really nice to work with, I think now. But I'm kind of almost scared to paint on them now because they might be worth a little bit more than the average Bronx stuff. But anyway, so I'd take once this was wet, kind of, and I'd dry it off some. I would then take it out on the table and I'd let this kind of dry a little bit in the sun briefly. And this was one of them I just did a minute ago. This one, I don't know, it looks like 8th Avenue, 7th, 9th Avenue. The post office, something, Pennsylvania Station. But anyway, very cool kind of Manhattan stuff. I'm glad I did a little digging and researching, and now I have some cool, unwritten, nice. I don't know if I'm gonna paint on them or not. I feel kind of like I shouldn't almost, but I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind and keep these, but maybe try and sell them. I don't know, but anyway, just kind of wanted to give some documented proof of my project. Oh, and here's some of them I already did already. These are already dried, of course, and the backs were the Bronx. And the other sides, after they were peeled off and dried off, would be, you know, like plate number 32 section. This is like Grand Central Station. So pretty cool kind of Manhattan stuff. So that's like Grand Central Station. This is map plate 30. And this actually happens to be Times Square, Broadway. And now that map, plate 30. And all the other ones on here. But there's a total of 20 of them. Different plates and things, I guess. So these open up all. First Avenue looks like, can't see. But anyway, so these are 32 by 22 roughly Manhattan maps. So this is documentation, a little proof of how this project kind of comes along and my step-by-step sort of documentation and proof of these original Manhattan maps. So I'm thinking I'm going to do these, and these all came out of my 1913 supposedly Bronx Atlas book. Now I think I'm still going to do some for the Bronx though, because there's a lot of history in the Bronx. So I'm sure I'll do some more of those. But so there's, well, that one I gotta peel off and do, but that's give an example of what I did. So anyway, we go back to the original shoot, which is, I think this is pretty cool. I should probably take this out by itself and frame it or something. It looks pretty cool. Anyway, well, does this one have one too? I think this one's missing actually. Anyway. Anyway, I'm going to start my new art project with my maps from Manhattan out of this 1913 Atlas of New York City Borough of the Bronx by G.W. Bromley and Company. It says Philadelphia 1913. I'm assuming that the Manhattan maps that were in these also, on the flip side of these Bronx, are 1913 also, or earlier. So, until next time, we'll go with step number 2, or if you might even see them for sale somewhere else. But until then, bye.